Hi Anti-Society, welcome back to the Antisocial Planet, and today we are checking out chapters 22 and 23 of season 2 of Tower of God. And we have, I'm assuming, a bunch of stuff that's going to happen from like a character standpoint with this, specifically like characters siding with each other, empathizing with each other, because we did end off the last chapter with the test that they were currently going through ending and them sort of choosing who was going to go on to the next one. It was kind of just whoever was in the team, because I think like someone told me in the comments of my last video that Wangnan like gave a different USB, like his USB instead of the one that Love had for Bomb, and that's how the winning thing happened. Point being, Bomb now has his other teammates that are going to be joining him as he continues up the tower. But we also had a lot of stuff going on with Wangnan as just like a character and him really solidifying what motivates him and why he is progressing through the tower the way that he is. And I think that is what is going to have a lot more of an impact on Bomb and what's going to pull them together. I really loved the one panel we got where they were like back to back with each other, because I think it just really solidifies that there are a lot of similarities between their stories and what motivates them. So I think that that's going to be what really pulls them together and has them work together as opposed to just like being forced on a team. Of course, Bomb's gonna have to like learn how to play well with others again. So we'll see how that works out. But I'm assuming we're going to be dealing with some of the aftermath of that test, and I don't know if I'm ready for it because part of that is going to be what happened to Nya, and I'm still processing through it. So we'll see. We'll probably get some character moments of them interacting with each other and then get to maybe get some hints at what the next test might be. So let's just get into chapter 22. Okay, chapter 22. Right, it does say like Wangnan's connector. I see what y'all are talking about. Okay, this is why I read comments. I gotta keep up with what's going on. I feel like it's a good thing to show that even though Wangnan was like very emotion driven for that last part and he was very much just kind of impulsively reacting to what was going on, he was still thinking of how do I ensure that my team passes. Like he seemed really reckless and like he was willing to just throw away the test and what was going on because of his own feelings about it. But this proves that he wasn't, that he was actually very aware of needing there to be an after the test, right? So I do like seeing that not only is it like a clever way of like plotting the story, but it's also a good way of showing that Wangnan wasn't as consumed by that emotion as we might have thought. Like he was still able to think critically. Oh, I don't want to know. Like, I want Nya to be okay too. I'm also hoping for a miracle. I don't want to get heartbroken though. Oh, I'm not ready. It wouldn't open. Don't leave me without closure. That's so mean. I want the sweetie pie to be okay though. Sorry, just the like congratulations and the cheers and the celebration that's like supposed to be happening in this moment, and then we get this panel where like you literally cannot see anyone's face clearly. Everyone's eyes are covered or shadowed, or like they're completely like not within frame, or they're turned away or blocked in some way. Everyone, there's a lack of sincerity to the celebration of it, which I think makes sense given the context of what happened. Oh, is this Yin and Bomb's room? Oh yeah, she's not taking drinks from anyone. Any kind of beverage, she's like, no thanks, I've sworn off. Oh, is Prince feeling a little bit guilty? Maybe? Made some mistakes? I mean, you didn't see him kind of lose control there a little bit. Like the way he says it, he's like telling the story though, like, bang, ta-da! I got Aquaraptor's just chilling and seems to know something about something going on. I mean, doesn't Teddy Bear know what happened? So I guess he probably knows. I'm assuming that they talked about it, given that they're begrudging friends. I don't really know if they're friends, but they get along somewhat. So I assume that he knows what happened. Oof, are we having a moment? Gosh, look at that art though. It's just real good. The light source, the way that it's like pulling the yellows in his design with the blue background, approved. Oof, I'm tired, like all of that showmanship. I'm assuming this is after like the celebration of him being like, oh, let's celebrate, let's be goofy, let's say, oh yeah, my plan just kind of happened, and all that kind of stuff, trying to be jovial about it, like his normal persona is that he usually puts forward. And then when he's on his own, he's tired, right? He's drained after everything that happened, and I really feel like this is a different Wangnan now. There was the one that we had at the beginning of the story, and this is like a new journey for him. He has chosen to be a new, I don't know, person, or at least like a new path that he's going on, even though it seems like essentially the same because it's still going up the tower and wanting to like become the new king and stuff like that, but there's a different motivation behind it. There's a different feeling to it. Oh, hi Bomb. Just lurking? There's some like Batman vibes to that of like just appearing in the shadows. The awkward Bomb, you have to actually say something if you just sneak up on someone. Otherwise it's weird. I like how Wangnan assumes that this is about like the trickery, and that's what people kind of associate with Bomb as being dangerous, right? Everyone calls him a monster, and in some way he is, but his question is like the growth that happened, right? He's asking, how did you forgive him? How did you move on from it? Because that's something that I'm sure he struggled with, because we've seen him say he doesn't know what he's gonna do when he sees Rachel again. Like, he has no clue what that moment is gonna mean to him. He's just determined to get to that point, I think. Like, I think it's still the same motivation as he wants to find Rachel, but it's for a very different motivation again than it was before. If we're talking about like having the same end destination, but a very different motivation, a different journey between now and then. Bomb is a very similar thing. I think he wants to find Rachel, same as season 1, but he doesn't know what that's gonna mean for him when he gets there and who he's gonna be afterwards. Right? So I love that his question is like, how did you move on? I mean, it's like I said, a lot of the time forgiveness doesn't have anything to do with the person who did you wrong. It has to do with you getting over it, right? Like you processing through it, you forgiving it so that you can let it go and you can move on and not let it tear you up inside. Oof. That I also want to be forgiven. I mean, I get that. Like, you want to be a better person. And part of that is not letting people change you in ways that you don't want. And we did have that time where Lurker said they were the same, and Wangnan was like, absolutely not. And before we get to this, I just voiced some thoughts going through me. I really like how, like, Wangnan is saying he wants to be forgiven because he sees the similarities between him and Lurker. And like I said before, you don't want people to change you in ways that you don't like. It's not letting people have that power over you. Very similarly, what did Rachel do to get to that point in the tower? She isolated herself. She pushed people away. She was very quiet. She usually had her eyes covered in different scenes, had a hood up. People didn't really know who she was because she changed her name. Are we seeing some similarities between the behavior here of Rachel and Bomb? You know, like, Bomb is becoming a lot of what Rachel was when we saw her in the first season as a way of coping with what she did to him. He's changing in ways that she directly affects him, right? Like, I see the parallels here, and I would like Bomb to not be Rachel. Personal preference. Ooh, I love that of it creates walls between people. And I've said before that the tower wants conflict, right? Like, wants to pit people against each other because that's part of how it functions, right? The tests where people are put into teams and then they have to then compete against each other. All of it's competition, all of it's proving that you deserve to get one step further, right? Everything's a struggle. And we had the last one where it was, does it make, like, do you actually get your desires or does it make you give up on them? And that's like, you know, that isolation, that putting up walls. Literally, like, there are like barriers between floors and sections, and you know, you literally have to go through all of these competitions just to get to a different place, right? Just to get past those walls. And that's, you know, both physically what's happening and like metaphorically with the internal journey of a lot of these characters is, how do you get past those walls, or how do you even understand that you have those walls internally to keep people out? I also love that Wangnan is in brighter light in this. Like, we have a level difference here, but also a lighting difference to like have a distinction between them. Even though there's a lot of similarities between them, they're still like not quite meeting up, right? Like, they're literally not seeing eye to eye. Oh gosh, don't bring up stars for all that is holy. Wangnan, don't say you want to see stars because it's going to trigger something, and I don't know which direction we're going to end up in. Bomb's a little bit volatile. Love the transition from the dark to the light though. Ooh, are we in trouble again? Yeah, it didn't exactly go well, did it? I mean, it is a good point. You did intentionally, I don't know, intentionally lost, but like definitely wasn't trying his absolute best. We know that Love was holding back for a lot of that because we saw how much better he was than Bomb. Bomb got 3 strikes. He wasn't going to pass that test. And Love was trying to stick to the rules of it and actually play fair. So if we're actually looking for revenge, Bomb wouldn't have passed, or at least wouldn't have been able to pass this. Like, it's complicated, I guess, because he technically would have passed anyway. He would have been able to go on, but it's a whole thing. Uh-oh, is Bomb big news now? Imagine that. Imagine like wanting to take revenge on someone and all you do is make them super popular. It's true. The results were the same. I like how this is also a story of forgiveness. Like, we were talking about Wangnan having to let go of what he was feeling in order to move on and not let it affect him. Same thing with Love. Like, Love has been holding on to this resentment for a long time from what like FUG did to his family, and he needs to forgive for himself. Like, it's just like, I will accept chicken as an apology. Fair enough. It's kind of like Hang Sang with like, I will accept coffee as repentance. Oh God. Love, this close. So close to having a way out. Love, no, the moment has passed. You have passed on using chicken as a bargaining tool. Just walk away with dignity. Who are we talking to? There's an ominous red light to the whole thing, which makes me nervous. The prince passed it. Wangnan, I'm assuming? So the red is either Jihad, as we've seen, or FUG, because they both use that color, and I think part of that is because they both have like, I don't know, because they're so closely tied to each other, and I mean like FUG is trying to dethrone Jihad, so taking like the symbolism of Jihad and claiming it as their own is like part of that process, right? I trust no one anymore. Everybody's got some going on. Oh, FUG, okay. Could have just kept reading, as usual. Interesting to have someone who is in the like administrator position or supervisor. It literally said it on his door. Anyway, look, supervising this part of the tower, this test, who is also associated with FUG in some way. Is that how Khun was able to get this far? Maybe like is the reason he's on this particular floor at this particular time because FUG knows about Wangnan? Whether or not Bam has like any actual knowledge of that. Next floor though, woo! Just like outburst from Wangnan. You passed though, which means you don't have to fulfill that contract, which is good. Oh, we're gonna take someone else for chicken? The audacity. Look at Wangnan just out. Oh, what is it, Bam? We're not in the purple anymore. Interesting. We get to pass, woo! That's exciting, right? Slayer nominee. I like how they're saying like he won in a fight against a ranker, even though that's like not what happened. The way that, you know, it all the rumors spread, right? Is that who I think it is? I mean, is it our Khun or is it a Khun? I'm hoping it's ours though. I wonder if Khun knows sort of what's going on. Also, like the sass in this photo, top tier. Ooh, the wool's not. 25th floor. Weren't there some floors in the middle of that? I feel a lot of things. Next chapter though. If it actually is Khun, like we're getting our boy back, I'm gonna be so happy. I've missed the characters from the first season so much. I know that we got like Hot's a little mention of him, but I just want to check in. I just want to know how they're doing. Are we waiting for someone? Oh, I was kind of hoping it was one of the characters. I was like, who are we meeting? Scout? Okay. What's the plan? Putting together a team for something? Silverfish for a certain reason? Maybe that's why we're on the 25th floor. If we are catching up with other characters. Sometimes I can put together dots. I don't know, I feel like someone who's just like really trying to play up how special their skill is usually just trying to get more money. Just saying. The nonchalance of it though. And just like how the switch of like one person thinking they have control over the negotiation and then being like, nope, I actually want something else. Our boy though, just being like, I know what I want and this is not me asking. Cause like, see, like, he didn't say like, do you want to join my team? It was like, how much do you want when you join my team? Like that's the vibe that Khun has. I'm just like, no, I've decided that you are part of what I'm working on. It is just a matter of what you would like in return for that. Yeah, I think it's weird for someone to turn down an opportunity to go up the tower because everyone seems desperate for an opportunity to the point of like working just to afford to try again, right? So to have someone who is constantly turning it down seems odd. Like Khun's just like, really? Yeah, it was like the 20th floor thing was a lot of people end up giving up, right? They end up not getting past the 20th floor. Yeah, I guess climbing up has a ton of risks within it too, so some people might decide to just stay. I had that a little bit with like Mia, who was like, I kind of want to just stay because I have a life here. I was like, he's already decided. Aiden, it's just a matter of whether or not, like, what do you want in return? That's it. That's the question here. Is that important? Suspendium? I'm assuming it's valuable and useful in lots of different ways and relatively rare, given that that is a lot of it. Does he have like a little dog on his shirt? Like a little pin or patch or something? I do like that we set up the whole thing of him being like really fast and being able to escape specifically like lighthouses and stuff like that, like someone who is good against someone who has like Khun's abilities, and he's just like, all right, let's see who's better. Feel like it's not gonna be much of a competition. I do like that this is part of showing off where Khun is now. Like we're getting to see where his abilities have, how far they've come in the time that he's been also going up the tower and training and learning new things. Yeah, just go for it. Don't worry, he'll catch up. Oof. Of course he set a trap. There's always plans within plans. Good to know that not everything changes. How? Asking the wrong questions. It's Khun, he just does things. With the intimidation though. It's too obvious, too easy. Plans within plans. Khun's got a few different things up his sleeve. Call it now. That is terribly dramatic. And you're spilling your drink. Exactly. Why did he sit at the table right next to the exit? If he's paid off everybody in the cafe, could have sat anywhere. Decided to sit right next to the exit. Coincidence? I think not. Yup. Not really an exit. Creepily sneaking up too. Like, yeah, I'm like, it's definitely a trap. Also, can we talk about his little, like, I don't know, safari outfit he's got going on? The, like, cargo shorts and the hat. Yeah, I was wondering if he actually was bluffing or not. Still, I think he could have negotiated being able to sit wherever he wanted. It's a good point. Why did you trust? No reason to. We even said yourself he was bluffing, and then you just went along with it anyway. Well, I like this shot where you can still see that the door is, like, within range. I feel like that's going to be a setup for him to be able to get out. You might be faster than he thinks, but are you faster than he is? Oof. Good shot though, especially with the orange details, with the blue. We love some contrast. It's not gonna be enough, especially since I know that Khun usually does work with other people, like even if they're not directly like friends or anything like that, he usually does have other people to help him out. So I'm just waiting for someone else to show up and help him with the plan. Oof, was not expecting that escalation. So we did hire some people, just not who you thought. He didn't say he didn't hire anyone there. He said he didn't hire everyone in the cafe like he said, and also, if you already know that he lied, why are we trusting his word again? He's proven that he's a liar. Why are we just taking his word for it? Decisions were made. See? It was like, you trusted me. Twice, even though you were proven that you shouldn't have. That's on you. Little critter. I like the world building, because it's like they're in clouds. Oh, hello. Are you one of the teammates that I'm assuming Khun is putting together? God, rough. I mean, you didn't even touch him. Maybe that's part of the facade, though. Is he wants people to think he is more volatile than he actually is. Who's it gonna be? The enemy. I guess they don't know. Do they still not know? I have so many feelings. Because I'm like, she told them a story of what happened, and it wasn't actually what happened. And they probably don't know that she pushed him. That's gonna be awkward when it actually comes out. Oh boy. We're just gonna end there, huh? Cool. I have a lot of feelings at the end of that one. I am super excited to be getting another story. I really wasn't sure if we were going to focus on like Bomb's story and as Wangnan's too, because we kind of started off this season focusing on him, with Bomb being more of like a character that like intersected with that story. So I didn't know if we were going to focus on that story the whole time, and then eventually some of the other characters from season 1 would like come into that story, or if we were going to actually get some of the other characters. So it does look like we're going to be getting at least Khun and Rachel. Probably some other people who are also around in some capacity. I don't know how much they're able to stay together, and that's going to be one of the things that I'm most interested in, is who's together, who isn't. And I say like able to because it might have been that someone passed a test and someone had to stay behind, or it could have been it's easier for us if we split up, if we do other things, we play to our strengths, and then we can meet up later doing stuff. It seems like they're in communication, like Khun or AA, I guess, was talking to someone, so it looks like it might have been Rachel, but it could have also been other people, like staying in communication with them in other ways. So we'll have to see if that happens. I would love to see like Shibitsu and Rock and Hats you know, like get the gang back together. So we'll have to see kind of how this story evolves. I'm sure that Khun has some master plan going on, very separate from the whole like Prince of Jihad thing, which is what we've just kind of put a pin in for now, and we'll have to come back. I hope that we alternate, like there's moments in both storylines, because I kind of don't want to give up what was going on with Wangnan and friends for like a super long time. I'm assuming we're gonna like focus on like Khun mostly, like for this arc little section thing, and then come back. Hopefully there's some kind of intersection, because they're not super far apart. I guess 21st was where Bomb and his group are going to go to, and then 25th is where Khun and his group are, so not a ton of distance, but also kind of in the tower. I guess it takes a long time to get from one place to another. I can dream that they'll be able to meet up at some point, but I do like getting to check in with some of the other characters and what they're doing, even if it includes Rachel, and also getting to see some of Wangnan's like post what happened mannerisms, like him talking about being tired and seeing like a very different side to him as opposed to the like fun upbeat side that we see when he's with other people. So that's kind of why I want to come back to that story in some capacity, because I do like a good character driven story, and I feel like if anyone's gonna get to Bomb in his current state of being, it might be Wangnan. So a bit of a weird setup with the story, with the chapters, I guess, that we switched from two very different storylines in the middle. But you can click this playlist to go and see my previous reactions, or you can subscribe so you miss next time I post a Tower of God reaction, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!